Okay, let me walk you through the Streamlit part. Basically, what is Streamlit? Streamlit is just a very simple, easy way of making any UI. Okay, so if I just go and find out the Streamlit, okay, you go to the Streamlit, this one. Okay, just go and continue the sign in process. There is also like Streamlit docs, Streamlit documentation. Okay, so let's say that if you wanted to create a simple chatbot kind of a system, okay, then how can you actually do that thing? Okay, if you just go to this tutorial part, okay, let's say chat apps and LLMs, just go there, and you will be having a build app using a LangChain, or let's say build a basic chat app. Okay, so you will see like how to basically like you can actually clone this simple thing. Okay, so this is basically your title, this is basically your the markdown. Okay, so how you can actually like try to create it. Okay, so similarly, first of all, you need to install it via pip. So Streamlit via, we are actually going to make a simple UI from a Python. Okay, so you need to install like pip install Streamlit. Okay, and after that just import this Streamlit part, and let's say if you wanted to create a simple chat message, you can actually try to do it in this way with st.chat and then user. So this is basically chat. Okay, similarly, let's say that if you want to create some other things, okay, you can actually try to like do it in this way. Okay, so you will feel a lot more different buttons, some scrollers, okay, some other design. You can actually try to find it over here. Let me hop back to my code and let me show you that what I have make. Okay, so let's say that if I just go to this simple chatbot, don't worry, I'll share the code, but you can also try it by yourself. It's way too easy. Okay, so let's say that this is just a simple chatbot. Okay, a simple grok chatbot. So like the same way that I have actually like implemented in my last section, like in Google Colab, I am supposed to give a body. Okay, give a UI body. So that is why I'm actually using this Streamlit. Okay, and don't worry about the design part. Even like you can copy paste the code which we have done the implementation in Google Colab. Let's say if you don't wanted to learn the UI part, I hope that you can actually learn this part. This is way too simple. You can simply copy paste into the let's say chat GPT, or let's say grok, okay, or let's say DeepSeek or cloud, even cloud 4.5 sonnet, you can actually try to use it. Okay, and just tell that what are the modification you want, and they will going to give you the code. Okay, so let's say that this is basically the sidebar code. So let's say that, so let me just go and first run the code as well, so that you will get to you will be getting what I'm telling. So in order to run this, you can just try to use Streamlit run this one, right? Streamlit run, let's say simple chatbot. Okay, so you can see that this is basically a simple chatbot. Let me just try to put the grok API key here. So in my collab, I think I have given my API key somewhere. Yes, this is my API key. Let me put the API key here. Okay, let's create a sidebar. Okay, so that I can just click the sidebar, so that the sidebar panel will start showing up, popping up in the screen. Okay, so this is the code for creating the sidebar, which means that first of all I need to create, let's say, the title. Okay, like once I press the enter after like entering the grok API key, okay, so it will going to show us the Streamlit grok chatbot just like this way, right? Just like this one, this Streamlit doc chat. Okay, so this is basically the title of the sidebar. Okay, and inside it I need a two column, the grok API key as well as the model that I can actually select it from by using the drop down menu. Okay, so how I can actually supposed to do all these things? Again the same thing, dot st dot sidebar. So you will going to get everything in the documentation part. Okay, so let's say that from with the st dot sidebar, I am just supposed to give the title over there. Okay, inside the title, let's say that user have a flexibility to, let's say, put the text input. So st dot text input. So inside the sidebar, if I want the text input, I can actually put my text input over here. Okay, and once this is over, I can actually like do the stop. Okay, so the sidebar part is basically completed. Now let's say the other thing is like, let's say that I wanted to have a select pause, or let's say I wanted to give the drop down menu. So in the sidebar section itself, this is my first part. I have given the first input, this is my second input. Okay, so this is like user can have a flexibility to actually select the boxes, okay, out of all these chatbot, which chatbot user want to communicate with. Okay, then what is so this is these are basically temperature. Okay, so if you wanted to keep the slider part, so if you wanted to keep this slider part, this part, so you can actually like set up the configuration over here. Okay, so you can just add the slider over here only, right? Now let's say up to this part, so let's say now you want to create this one. Okay, you wanted to create this, you wanted to give this as a title. Okay, and then this is basically the markdown, this is basically the chatbot. You can actually try to give it. Okay, how? See, inside this, right? So sd.title. Okay, then the same I have actually copy pasted the same code which I have actually implemented into Google Colab. Okay, just that I have just given some UI soul to it, that's it, right? So inside this, these are basically my system prompt. Okay, these are a markdown that I am supposed to say, that just type the question below, I won't remember the previous message. So this is basically the markdown. Okay, for now I have not added any memory, this is just a simple chatbot. Okay, now let's say that if the suppose is actually user is asking any question. Okay, and based on the user is asking any question, I am supposed to like decide my the message. Okay, so in the LangChain, so I have decided that these are basically my system message or a system prompt, and this is basically the human message, so human and assistant interaction. Okay, similarly, in order to get the response, you can actually get the response from the st.chat message. Okay, so user will going to put the input, user will going to give the input as, let's say, hello, my name is Aryan. Okay, so yes, the simple message like, hello, my name is Aryan. Okay, so this is basically where it will go, it will go in this way, right? So see, the user is actually asking a question, the user is supposed to give the answer. Okay, now let's say that if I press enter over here, if I just go and press this one, so the assistant is supposed to give me the response. Okay, so the response section, you can actually try to make it over here. So let's say that for the get response, again in the chat method, okay, like in the chat box itself, the assistant is giving me the response. Till the time I'm getting the response, I wanted to set one spinner, and then again llm.invoke, and then I will be getting the response. Okay, in this way, this is just a very simple chatbot now, because it does not have many memory, right? What is my name, it won't tell because it does not have any memory. Okay, now let's try to add the memory. Okay, so in order to add the memory, so I have just added the simple list. So I'll tell you what is it. See, if I just go to Grok chatbot, the same thing. Okay, the chatbot part is, so the sidebar is basically the same thing, the initialization part is basically the same thing. So this actually initialized into the cache UI resources, and then let's say this is my chat history. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do is that I'm supposed to keep my chat history as well. Okay, so that is why it is basically like st.session state. Okay, so session state is basically like it will going to take and append the chat history of the user as well as assistant. Okay, so you can actually see that these things are actually in the list format. Okay, so in the list format, now what I'm going to do is that I am going to make the English to French translation. Okay, so if I wanted to make the English to French translation, right? So I wanted to, let's say the user is asking any question, so from the chatbot only the user is going to ask question, right? And then let's say the assistant is supposed to give me the response. Okay, so the user question and the response both will go like and append it into the list. Okay, into the session state list, simple, into the list. Okay, there is an empty list over there, and like the first value of the list is basically a system prompt. Okay, and then the next, like whatever the next thing which I am appending, I am going to appending, like I will be appending the user message as well as the system response. Okay, so yeah, so let's say that is why I'm just giving it, like that is why I'm just like iterating it from the very first index, because at the zeroth index I have the system message, right? Now again, let's say that user is actually asking a question. Okay, and then I'm actually setting up the prompt. Okay, and other thing. Okay, and then I will be waiting for this response, and once I'll get the response, I will be appending this response. Okay, so let's say that these are the response I get, right? Response I get from the LLM, right? So I will be appending this response into the session state. So in Streamlit, session state is basically empty list where you can actually try to append the conversation, okay, of the current conversation as well as the previous conversation. So what I'm trying to say is this one. So let's say that, let me run this part as well. So let me run the Grok chatbot, right? The Grok chatbot.py file. So let me give the API key over here. Okay, Now let me just give that hello, my name is Aryan and I work in Verify. So let's say that user is actually giving the question. Okay, so user is actually giving the question and assistant is basically giving the response. Okay, now before user and assistant, like before this part, right? Okay, before the assistant and user part, my session state is only having the one single value, which is like the human, so which is like the system prompt, okay, as well as the human message. Okay, in future, like whatever the user is supposed to like give the input. Okay, and let's say that these are the input I have and these are the output I get. Okay, so these things I'm going to append in my session state. Okay, so that next time if I'm going to ask, right, let's say what is my name. Okay, next time you're supposed to ask, then along with this question, my previous context will also go in this LLM model. Okay, so that is why it is supposed to give my name as an RN. Okay, in this way you can actually, there are multiple way you can actually attach the conversation buffer in history method, or the way which I have already told you, like through the readable LLM, and many different way to attach the memory part to in memory saver as well, right? There are many other things, right? You can actually try to use it by yourself. Okay, I feel that like this is way too easy for me, that I can just create a list and I can actually pass the entire list. Okay, if I have a big context, I can actually pass the entire list and the LLM would able to remember it. Okay, so let's say some other question like company which company I am currently working. Okay, which company I'm currently working. So it is supposed to give me the answer. Okay, so in this way it is going to give us the response. Let's say that today the weather seems to be good. Okay, so it is actually like supposed to do the translation part. Okay, now tell me some joke in English. Other than that, it can also try to like act as a conversational agent, right? But since like you have asked for, so yeah, why don't data run, so it is going to give you the other thing as well, right? So it has given this, so I'm actually using this llama 3.3. Okay, so it has given that why don't scientists trust atom, because they make up everything. Good. Okay, I can actually trust these kind of a model. So in this way you can actually try to make a simple chatbot. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So similarly, if you really interested, you can actually go to this Streamlit section and you can actually learn it. Okay, so let's say that if I just go to the grok part, if I just go here, okay, and let's say if I wanted to say that I want to learn Streamlit from the very basic in order to build the simple chat application integrated with the LangChain, can you tell me the basic like buttons, keywords, or some UI thing which I need to make the chatbot. Okay, so in this way you can actually try to use this Streamlit application, right? So it is supposed to give me, in order to make the application, these are the things that you are supposed to use. Okay, so this is like st.chat message. So if you wanted to create the chat button, okay, you need to create this st.chat message. If you wanted to input this inside the chat, so inside this chat message you can actually input this. If you wanted to create a history of the chat history, if you wanted to show it like the user as well as the assistant response, you can actually try to use this session chat. Okay, similarly in the markdown section you can actually try to create your own markdown section. Similarly there are other thing as well, right? Creating a title, creating a sidebar, creating a button, and other thing. If you wanted to like learn more about it, just go to Streamlit part. So let me just go to the Streamlit. If you go to the Streamlit cloud, you will going to see the other thing as well, like gallery, right? See this one, you can actually try to play with this. Okay, so there are other thing as well. So let me just go to this cloud section. explore the user app. If I just click the explore the user app, you will see that there are so many users actually like pre-built these things, and you can actually deploy this as well. See, if I go to my application, if I just press the deploy button, so I can actually like try to deploy it. So first of all, I need to like push these things into my GitHub, then I need to connect these things in like from my GitHub here, so that I can actually, that I will show you that you can actually like do something by yourself. Okay, you can actually like deploy it by yourself. I will show you the deployment, but deployment is very easy, that's why I'm just leaving this part. Okay, so let's say that if you just go in this one, right, so you can actually like revisit all those different Streamlit chatbot which has like actually used by many different user. Okay, if I just go to this wordlit.net, so this is actually deployed Streamlit chatbot. Okay, okay, so it will going to generate the graph. That's nice. Okay, so let's say this is basically the uses as an NLP tool to generate the knowledge graph. Okay, do I need to put anything here? Okay, let me some browse some file here and just try to give generate the graph from file. Nice, that's nice. It is going to generate the graph from my graph analytics. Or okay, it is also going to give me the graph analytics as well. Okay, let me just resize the page size. Okay, yeah, this one, right? You can actually see and try to make your other thing as well. Let me explore some other Streamlit library. This is basically a Streamlit cheat sheet, so that can also be very useful to you. So just go into this cheat sheet Streamlit dot app. Okay, inside this you will get, see, this is what, this is actually good, right? So see, this is basically the display. This is a display interactive widgets. You can actually use these things into your application, connecting the data, displaying the data, build a chat based application. Okay, other thing as well. So I've just made and integrated the simple thing. Okay, that how to basically like create a simple chatbot, some grok chatbot. Or let me show you some other as well. Okay, I've also like made the other chatbot as well. So basically let me go to this chatbot.py file. Okay, so streamlit run chatbot.py file. So yeah, so this I have actually make for the purpose just to show you that I can actually like try to say integrate many different things. I can actually integrate, I have actually integrated the Gemini for image generation, for video captioning, for image understanding, for document parsing, even for a simple chat. Okay, so let's say that hello, my name is Ryan and I am teaching generative AI. What should I start first in my course catalog? Okay, so it is supposed to like use the Gemini model. Okay, what I have done is that whatever the things that I have actually used in the collab for using the different tool, okay, just to do a proper chatting operation, or I have already showed you all this code, right? The same code I am actually using, just I have just given segregated everything into a tool wise. That's it, right? So you can actually see that it is actually giving the response that, okay, discriminative AI, the rise of transformer, LLM fundamentals, and other things, right? Let's say that if I wanted to parse the document. Okay, so let's say that if I were going to give my document here, and let's say that list out all the key points which actually needed from this CV to become the Gen AI engineer. Okay, if I just go to process PDF, so it is supposed to process the PDF just the way I have already showed you in the Google Colab. Okay, so what I have done is that I have just created one title here. Inside the title I have just created one upload button here, and after uploading these things I have just created the another chat. Inside this chat input I am just passing the user input, and then inside every code is working as same. For response I am just fetching the response and displaying it here. That's it. So it is supposed to read my PDF, and then it is supposed to give me that these are the necessary things which LLM has basically extracted from my model. Okay, from my attached PDF. Let's say list out Aryan's all the skills in the last company and in the current company. Okay, so it is actually basically processing something, and it will going to list out all other thing as well, right? So Let's wait. So yeah, it is basically like for my current company, these are my skills, right? On my previous company, these are basically my skills. So it has actually done a pretty good job. Similarly, when it comes to image understanding, let's say that if I wanted to ask any question related to image, okay, I have just given this image. So let's say, can you describe any violence in the image? Okay, so it is going to analyze the image. Of course, the image I have just passed the snapshot of one street view, okay, and then there was no violence, so it should going to give no violence. Okay, let's see that what the Gemini is basically thinking and reading the image context. Okay, so based on this scene, this one security guard is walking, another thing. Okay, so these are basically, it is also giving me the image and see that there is no sign of aggression and fighting. Okay, that's good. So let's say that, can you summarize? So I can actually like, can you summarize the image? Okay, so it is also like appears to be standard CCTV footage. That's good. I mean, like, Gemini is very intelligent enough just to understand the camera angle as well, because it is going to give us the that it is basically suited by the CCTV camera. That's really good, right? See, so it is based on this image, and these are the security, like these are the street scenes. The foreground, the security guard is actually wearing something, and the customer is actually entering another thing. Okay, it is supposed to give me a good set of response. Suppose similarly, let's say if I wanted to like do the video captioning, and it can also do the video captioning as well, right? So if I just go and press the new video here, like describe what is happening in the video, so it will going to analyze the video and then just try to give me that what is basically happening in the video. Okay, so it is working quite good till now. If I just go through the code, so if you just go here, like I'll share the code, you can also make it by yourself. That's very easy, right? What I've done is that I have basically used the 5 tool, right? The first is basically like for document parsing, so this is another tool. This is the simple chatbot. Similarly, this is the image understanding, the video captioning, just the same way, the exact same way which I have actually implemented in the Google Colab. The same things I have just like used the Streamlit and given some button, some title, some markdown, some let's say sidebar, just to show you that what are the UI use cases of this. Okay, so that you can actually, so that it becomes more presentable. Okay, showing it to the client. So let's say that what it is actually giving. Okay, so it is actually describing the video, that these are the video. Okay, the customer is basically entering into it, and it is supposed to give the result that a CCTV footage like a restaurant or a commercial establishment during the evening. The video opens the security guard in a dark holding uniform, wearing like man wearing a blue shirt, carrying a, so all these things, right? Everything you can actually like try to summarize. Let me just try to generate the image as well. So this is like everything in a one single chatbot. Okay, you can actually show it into your project as well. Just combine everything. Okay, you can just combine all these different tool as well, like the audio input, the audio summarization, the audio classification. You can actually generate. So this is basically the image generation. Okay, and internally all these things are actually like using the Google Gemini API. That's it. Okay, integrated with the LangChain. Okay, that is why I have already like given you so much lecture on LangChain, that why learning LangChain is very important. Okay, because that can easily, like, you can actually try to integrate these things, integrate any other API with the LangChain and try to make a like very good different set of application. Okay, let's say that generate the image of cute boy learning in an learning in the elementary school, okay, in India. Let's say, even like you can actually try to use some, let's say I want to like generate, see, that is really good, that is really good. See, you can actually see this, the blackboard part. Okay, and this boy looks very like very natural. Okay, so let's say that if I wanted to like generate the class notes in whiteboard, generate the let's say short notes on the trending, short notes on, let's say, Kirchhoff's law in the trending whiteboard, BOARD, with red ink and blue marker. The image should look original. Okay, now let's generate the image. So you can actually like try to use it for education purpose as well, for creating the PDF, for like generating different images for your notes and other thing as well, right? So this is like all in one chatbot, so you can actually try to use it. See, right? Can you tell like this is either written by the AI or some human? Like I won't tell it, right? Because see, you can actually understand the texture as well, right? See, right? So it is very good, right? So let's generate, because this seems very interesting. Okay, let's generate some other thing. So can I generate the image of a kung fu panda, right, playing with tigress? That's nice, right? So yes, now let's say in the streets of Kerala, looks real, generate. That's look okay. Only this part is actually hallucinated, but I think these part, all these things are basically like working well, right? So yeah, in this way you can actually like try to use. There are so many multiple tool you can actually add it here, and you can actually create a different chatbot. Okay, and you can also visit the many different, like you can also explore the chatbot by so many people. Okay, these people have actually developed different chatbots. Similarly, this is like pretty map. This is I think some kind of a map chatbot. Okay, let me see what is it. It is created by some Kerik. Okay, so this is the location, the map. Okay, you can also integrate these. I think this is the Barcelona location. Customize map. Okay, let's say if I customize this thing, submit. Okay, it is some kind of giving me the map response. Okay, let me try to use some other chatbot as well. This is I think the simple chatbot. Okay, okay, these have actually the same chatbot which I have made till now. I think so, let me check. Yeah, this is basically doing the same thing. The chat with search, prompt template. You can just create your, like, give your open API key here. You can actually enter the prompt, and that has the same kind of a structure which I've actually like showed you in different tool. Okay, so that can also work good. Let me explore some other chat. This is basically the Streamlit chart. This is 30 day of Streamlit. This is, you can actually visit this one, this explore many different chatbot. You will get it, and all are basically free. Okay, you just need one single API key just to explore everything. Okay, so yeah, you can try to make it different chatbot, and let me know that if you're actually interested in making some good chatbot, I will be making that thing. Okay, so that is basically the entire like a lecture of all this LangChain integration part, the Hugging Face part, the memory, the chat like prompting and other thing which we have done. Okay, and then the chatbot part as well. Okay, now in the next lecture, so I will be covering the entire depth of RAG part. Okay, because RAG part is very important and actually used in so many industries as well. So I'm going to cover the RAG part very soon. That will be like showing up into the playlist as well. And then the entire generative AI series, especially for the beginner part as well as the mid-level enterprise part. So you will be good to go, right? You will get the certificate in each and everything once you actually like complete all this task, as well as the MCQs, whatever the question which is actually needed to ask. Okay, then I think this is more than enough. Okay, so let me first cover the RAG part as well, and I think RAG part is like basically the last section of our entire generative AI series. And after that we will going to discuss a lot whenever the time permits. Okay, there are so many exploration which keeps on coming. Okay, so we are going to like like integrate, make some good project. I will also going to show you some good project which we inside the Verify has built in the agentic AI. Okay, so we have used the N10, we have actually used the many different LangChain integration part into the front end for our own AI surveillance camera system, and we are actually like showing it to the client, and it is actually running in a production really well. Okay, so I will also going to show you that project. Okay, so that you can actually get a glimpse that how heavy and production ready you can actually like by taking these things, these framework, these use cases, this LLM model. Okay, you can actually try to build your own multitask application by yourself. Okay, so yes, so let's move to the another section which is like the RAG part. Okay, thank you.